Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to go over Unit 2 Lab 1 Page 1, developing a number guessing game with script variables. Before watching this video, you should really try to go through this entire lab on your own by yourself, and then if you do get stuck, maybe just keep pushing through, or maybe just watch the video after trying for a while, maybe giving it 15 to 30 minutes of actually trying. And then if you get stuck at a certain point, then watch the video, and then as soon as you get unstuck, go back to trying it on your own. These labs are really useful if you do them on your own first. So try to struggle through it a little bit, and if not, or if you struggled a little bit too much, or if you need some help, then watch this video. Or if you've already finished it and you want to see how I did it, or how I do this, you could watch this video now. So in this lab, we're trying to create a number guessing game where the computer creates a number, a secret number, from I believe 1 to 10, and the user has to keep guessing until they guess the correct answer, or the correct number that the computer came up with. So in this lab, we are going to be using script variables for the first time. The cool thing about script variables is that they store information, or they store some data, only while the script is running. Okay, so after the script is done, the script variables cease to exist, or they're not storing information, or they can be rewritten in memory probably. Whereas global variables, which is what a lot of my students, when they first start playing around with Snap, they realize, oh wow, you can make a variable and then I could access it anywhere. Let's say I make a counter variable, and then they start using global variables, and they end up with a million global variables that are being accessed and changed by different scripts, and then it becomes a debugging nightmare when it doesn't work the way it's supposed to. So as best you can, try to stick to script variables, because it'll be a lot easier to manage or find any bugs basically later on in the future. And it just makes more sense. So you could reuse the same variable names in different scripts if it makes sense. Okay? You don't want to have to use counter 1, counter 2, counter 3 to keep track of those. So anyways, if you do this reading, you can get through it yourself. Make sure to read everything, because you need to know this stuff. You need to know what a local variable is and what a global variable is. But I think with a little bit more experience, it'll kind of make sense. And if not, maybe I'll put out a video explaining the pros and cons of each. But in this lab, the first thing we got to do, or the second thing we got to do, is create a new command block called number guessing game. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to right click on my scripting area, click make a block, and I'm going to create number guessing game. It's going to be a command block. I'm going to leave it at gray because it's another type of block. And there we go. I have my block editor ready to go. So actually, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for any people that maybe can't see it well. Maybe on your screen it's a little small. So by increasing the size, maybe, oh, there we go. Maybe it'll be a little bit easier to see what's going on. So before I even start coding, I actually want to bring over my notepad, and I want to write down what this game should do, or kind of a step-by-step algorithm in a way of what will be going on in this game. So the first thing I want is the computer to create, or to pick a random number from 1 to 10. So if we were playing this for real, this is what I want the computer to do. Pick a random number from 1 to 10. Then as a user, I want to be able to start guessing what the computer kind of did. So the user takes a guess. Okay, now what the computer has to do is it has to figure out if the guess equals the number that it came up with. So let me call this a secret random number. And the user takes a guess. So I want to check, then the computer wants to check if the secret number equals the guess. And if that's the case, then the user won, right? So if true, user won. If false, play again, or guess again, maybe. It would be the correct way to think about this. Guess or play again. Let me call that step 4, just to keep it simple. All right, so what this is doing is computer is picking a random number. The user is guessing. If the user guesses correctly, then that'll be true. Okay, if the secret number equals the guess, then that's true. So that means the user won. All right. If the secret number does not equal the guess, play again. And you want to keep doing this over and over and over again. So if we look through at on Snap and how we can check the player's guess, we start learning about these little blocks called predicates. Okay? So these predicates, these little blocks that have the hexagon shape or the hexagonal shape, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, all right? They either report true or false. So they report a Boolean value. Booleans are either true or false. So what they do, so these predicates, is they check something or they do some kind of mathematical computation, and then they report if it's true or false. So for example, if A is greater than 7, then this block, when clicked on, is going to report true. Now, the way that these predicates are useful when you use them in conditional statements or in conditional blocks, where you want to check if something is true and then do something if that happens to be true, or you might want to do something until something is false. So the repeat until will keep doing something, whatever block of code you put in here, until the predicate reports false. And you'll see how that comes into play pretty soon. So I'm going to keep going here, and it actually tells you how to create or to use the repeat until. But before I get to that, I actually want to create the script variable. So I'm going over back here to my block editor, and I'm going to create a script variable called secret number. Secret number. Okay? And that's exactly what it says over here in 3B. So now my computer, when I click on the number guessing game, when I click on this block, the computer will create a script variable. And right now it's not setting it to anything. So it's not being initialized. So we want to initialize our variable secret number. We want to set it to something. So but the block that we use for that is the set block in variables. And we're going to set our secret number equal to something. Now if I look back at my notepad, I want to set that secret number to a random number between 1 and 10. And we've used random numbers before. So I'm going to go back to my operators tab. Okay, and I'm going to have the computer pick a random number from 1 to 10. Awesome. So far my computer, when the person clicks on the game, on the number guessing game block, let me just apply and show you guys this. All right, let me find it in variables down here at the bottom. When a user clicks on this block, you can see that it flashes for just a second and it's working perfectly, even though you might not believe it. Okay. Oh, what happened? Did I just lose everything I made? Maybe it's not working perfectly because I didn't save the code. Okay, my bad. So I'm just going to quickly remake that secret number. And the computer is going to set that secret number equal to a random number between 1 and 10. I'm going to apply, hit OK, and let me just make sure that this works. Can't tell if it works, but if I right click and edit, it should still be there, the code. Okay, so far so good. We don't see anything happening because we don't have any code to show something happening. So this isn't really great for debugging because I don't really see what's going on. Maybe if I want to debug it and if I want to see what the secret number is, I could have maybe the sprite say the secret number for 2 seconds, say the secret number for 2 seconds. Okay, and if I click on the game, you can see that this time the secret number was 1. If I click it again, now it's 2, 1, 9, 1, 4, 8, 6. Okay, so good. It looks like it's picking random numbers between 1 and 10. But I don't need to debug it right now. I just want to continue on. And what I want to do is let the user take a guess. So in the lab, it tells you guys, in order to get the input from a user, we want to use the ask and wait block. Okay? And the ask and wait block works together with the answer reporter. They go together. The answer reporter is what's going to be taking in. It's the input that was inputted by the user. So those you find in sensing. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is after I set my secret number, I want to ask the user, not what their name is, but I want to ask them to take a guess. Or maybe guess a number from 1 to 10. Because if I just say take a guess, I mean, they might write banana because they don't really know what they're guessing. But if I say guess a number from 1 to 10, it's pretty self-explanatory what the game is. Okay, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask them what their number is, and then I'm going to use their answer. And if you look down here, the reporter block for answer, okay, this will be set to whatever the person types in, and when they click the little checkbox or when they click enter, this answer will be set to that. So for example, if we scroll down here, right, it tells us to check. Where does it say that? Okay, here we go. I have to scroll up just a little bit, but I want to check the player's guess. And it tells us to use the repeat until block. Now, before I actually use that, I want to show you guys like the way that most of my students started thinking about this. Okay, so what they started doing is using the if block. Okay, and so if the answer was equal to the secret number, then the person guessed correctly. So that is what I'm going to try to pick out over here. So if the answer that the user gave equals the secret number, okay, then the person guessed correctly. So I'm going to say, congrats, you guessed correctly for 2 seconds. Okay, if they didn't guess correctly, then I want them to say something else. So maybe I shouldn't have used an if block here. I should have used an if else. Okay, and I'm going to bring it over. So what this allows me to do is check to see if the answer equals the secret number. Else, or otherwise, if this is not true, it's going to do whatever it's in the else. Else, say, no, you didn't guess correctly. So let me pick that out. Say, you guessed incorrectly. Okay, guessed like that. So now this game only works one time. And most of my students at this point were a little bit stuck because they were saying, wait, well, hold on. If the person guesses wrong, the game is just over, because you could see that it never repeats the game again. And if they guess correctly, they get it right. Let me just show you guys this in action. So I'm going to hit apply so I can keep the code up on the screen. And if I play the game, guess a number from 1 to 10, I'm going to guess 8. Oh, wow, and I guessed correctly the first time. I'm that good. Okay, let me try again and try to get it wrong. Guess the number from 1 to 10, guessed incorrectly, and the game is over. Okay, so that isn't great because we want this game to keep playing until the person gets it right. And this is where the repeat until block makes a little bit more sense than the if block for now. Okay, so I'm going to pull off the if block, and I'm going to start using what they suggest. Use the repeat until block. Okay, so the way that repeat until works, and if you just think about it like how you read it, it's going to repeat whatever is in here until this doesn't equal true anymore. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to check if answer equals secret number. Okay, and if it does not equal the secret number, if answer does not equal the secret number, it's going to do whatever is in here. Okay, so what you might want to do is ask the user to guess again. Guess again from 1 to 10. Okay, so what's happening here is if the person guesses a number and the answer doesn't equal secret number, then it's going to keep doing whatever is in here. And so it's going to say guess again. Or maybe I want to say you guessed incorrectly for 1 second and then let them guess again. Okay? So this block, it kind of goes into like almost like an infinite loop if the person never guesses correctly. And it's going to keep saying you guessed incorrectly. It's really going to rub it in. And then it's going to say guess again. And it's going to check again. Whenever the person types in their answer, it's going to check to see if their answer equals a secret number. Okay? Now let's see how this works for now. So guess a number from 1 to 10. Let's say I guess 1. You guessed incorrectly, and it lets me guess again. Guess again from 1 to 10. So 1, you guessed incorrectly. And if I just keep typing in 1, I'm getting it wrong over and over again, which is good because it should never say you guessed correctly if I keep guessing it wrong. So now I'm going to try to find the correct answer. Oh, wow. I guessed 2, and the game just ended without saying anything. So what happened was that after this was true, the code will continue, but you'll notice that there's no blocks underneath the repeat until block. So it'll never tell the user that they guessed it correctly, they guessed the number correctly, and that'll be that. So we got to add this block right over here. Okay? Now, some students, when they were doing this, they were checking again to see if they were doing something like this. They were, after the repeat until was exited or it was done, they were checking again to see if answer equals secret number. But you got to realize that if you get down to here, you already know that answer equals secret number. So you don't really need to check again. You just need to say it. Congrats, you guessed correctly for 2 seconds, and the game is over. So I'm just going to run it, make sure it works. Let's see if 1's the answer. You guessed incorrectly. Guess again. Let me try 2. Incorrectly. Guess again. 3, 4. Correct. Okay, so the answer was 4, and the game is over. If there's time, we want to congratulate the player by saying, you guessed it, my secret number was 7. So I have to use some more blocks to actually create the sentence or to make it look better. So I'm going to use the join block. And what I'm going to join is, congrats, you guessed it correctly. My secret number was, oops, let me spell secret correctly, was, and then I'm going to join that to secret number. Okay? I'm going to put a period or an exclamation point, and we're going to have it say, congrats, you guessed correctly, my secret number was, and then it's going to say secret number. And let me see if that's good. Guess the number from 1 to 10. So here we go. I got to guess again. There we go. My secret number was 2, and it works perfectly. Okay? So we got page 1 down, and we can test it, we can debug it, we can try different things, but this looks pretty good for now. I will show you guys other ways of doing it in just a second. Like, if, for example, you really want to use that if-else block, I'll probably show that in a couple videos. But in my next video, I'm going to show you guys page 2, which has a lot more steps that we got to get through. So let's get started on that.